Hey guys, welcome to week three. Week three can sometimes be a tough week because we're not quite halfway, but maybe you're feeling sore and maybe you're just, all the excitement and all the energy you had coming into this is starting to wane, and maybe you've had a couple of days where you haven't done it quite as well as you thought you should have and things like that. What I'm going to tell you now is to keep going. Don't quit. Remember, week one we talked about what's your why? Why did you start? And if you haven't already, go back and revisit that. And if you didn't write it down, make sure you write it down now. Why are you doing this? You can remember that why is going to be deeper than just a number on a scale, or it's going to be deeper than a size pant you want to wear. What is your why? Remember that. Remember why. For me, it was remembering that I wanted to have fun with my family with roller coasters. What is it for you? If you want to quit, go back, revisit your why. And remember in week two, we talked about nutrition, to where maybe you're doing everything right and you're just missing nutrition by just that much. Or we talked about eating the right amounts of the right foods at the right times. If you're not doing those things, you're not going to be getting the gains you could be, and that can be frustrating. Maybe week one you had a big weight loss, or week two maybe none at all or only a little bit, and you're getting frustrated coming into week three. Make sure you go back to what's your why, and remember to follow the nutrition outline that I've given you, so that way you can make sure you're getting the most out of your gains. All right guys, now this week I want to talk a little bit about exercise and fitness, and I'm actually going to start off by talking a little bit about the brain. Now let me preface by saying, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a licensed doctor, I don't have a PhD, I'm not a neurosurgeon or things like that. However, I have been reading a lot and talking with a lot of doctors, and here's what I've come to understand is that our brains are kind of like overprotective parents, right? So overprotective parents are super well intentioned, right? They want the best for their kids. They want their kids to have the things that they didn't have. And they want to really prevent their kids from having as much pain as possible, right? They want to protect them, and that's all super good. Our brains are actually just like that with our bodies, right? Our body's kind of like the kids, and our brain is the parents, and our brain wants to protect our body from pain and from any kind of stress. Now, at face value, that's amazing, and we actually need that, right? If not, you could be running so hard that you drop dead and you wouldn't even be aware that you were going that hard. That's where your brain sends signals to your body saying, yo, time out, we're going too hard. That's all super good and great. But just the same way to where overprotective parents, if they are too involved and they don't let their kids fail or have any kind of stress or pain, it's actually really not preparing their kids for life. The same way, our brains want to keep our body safe, which again is great, but a little bit of stress and yeah, even a little bit of pain, believe it or not, is good for our body. Think of it this way. If you want to lift weights and you want to get up to where you're lifting thousands and thousands of pounds on the bench, right? Which obviously would never happen, but if you wanted to get to where you were lifting more than you can now, well, you can't continue just to lift the same amount. You're going to have to continually and slowly push yourself harder and harder and go further than you originally thought you could go. That's the only way you're going to get stronger. Now, your brain's going to be telling you as you hit your limits, you need to stop, we're going too far, we're going too heavy, but to where you know you can go farther, right? So I have it written on the board up here, if you can see that behind me, but it's not really our bodies that we need to, or it's not really our bodies that can't withstand it. Our bodies can stand almost anything. It's our minds we have to convince. We have to kind of overcome our mind, that overprotective parenting of our brain, and to say, okay, I can go further than I feel like I can go, because your brain's going to be sending signals to your body saying, time out, stop, slow down, this is stressful. But again, that stress within reason is good. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you need to push so hard that you pass out, right? And that's where your brain is helpful. But remember that when you start feeling that pain or that exhaustion or that fatigue, you can go further. In fact, in the military, and I know that I've never been in the military, so this is just what I've read, but in the military, they call that the 40% rule. So what they're saying is that when you start to feel fatigued and tired, you're really at only 40% of your capacity. You could actually go 60% more, actually over double where you're currently at. So remember that the next time you want to quit, you're not feeling like you can go any further. You're only at 40% of what you really can do. Think of the Willy Wonka movies, right? So I'm sure almost all of us, if not all of us, have seen some variation of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And think about the kids that were in that movie, right? All of them had parents that were super well intentioned, but they made sure they gave the kids anything they wanted. They didn't withhold anything, right? So they didn't let those kids ever face any kind of stress or any kind of troubles or hard times at all. So when the troubles and hard times came, right? So think about Augustus, right? He wanted to have that chocolate in the river, even though Wonka had said, no, you can't. And his mom was like, yeah, go for it. He ends up getting into trouble because he wasn't ready for it. Think about Veruca, who was the super whiny one, who was like, Daddy, I want this and I want that. And he paid everybody off to get her whatever she wanted. But when she was finally told no, she didn't know how to handle it. Don't let your brain take control of your body that same way that the parents took over those children, right? You want to make sure that you're able to endure a little bit of stress, endure a little bit of hardship as you're going through this. That's the only way you're gonna get stronger, is that in the workouts that I've given you are designed for just that. So when you feel like quitting, not only think about the 40% rule, not only think about your brain being overprotective, but think about this. Don't be a Wonka brat, right? Don't be a Wonka brat. Thinking, no, I'm gonna be better than that. I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be ready to go. I'm gonna push harder than I think I can. So that way, the next time I can go even harder. Now, the workouts that I have designed throughout these 6 weeks are what's called HIIT workouts, H-I-I-T, which stands for High Intensity Interval Training. Now, here's some of the cool things about HIIT workouts and why, in my opinion, they're the best workouts out there. For one, they're a combination of two things. One, strength and aerobic energy. So the strength being, as you guys have already seen, of doing push-ups and of doing body weight exercises to where you're using your own body weight against you. You don't need a lot of dumbbells or you don't need a lot of equipment, and you really don't even need a lot of room. You guys know this is where I've been doing these workouts, and that's not a lot of room right here. That's what's great about HIIT workouts. Also too, they incorporate aerobic energy, right? So to where you're getting your heart rate elevated quickly, where you're running real hard, you're going real hard, and it's really elevating that heart rate and pushing your body to its limits, which is amazing, right? You start breathing hard, the sweat starts dripping. You guys know, you've seen me over here just struggling doing some of these workouts. Now, another great thing about these HIIT workouts is that even after the workout's done, your body keeps working. So as we mentioned, our brains are in control and want our bodies to be at this state of normalcy, right? To where we're not under stress or we're not breathing hard, where our heart rate is at its normal level. And like I said, that's a super good thing. Well, because of that, at the end of these HIIT workouts, our bodies are still, even after our cool down, our bodies are still kind of under a little bit of stress, is that our brain continues to pump energy and continues to have our body using and burning calories to be able to get our bodies back to that state of normalcy, right? So even after the workout's done, you continue to burn calories and to use energy to get your body back to normal. So even like as we're doing push-ups and like after you're done, you're like, oh, my chest is so sore or my arms are sore or whatever. That's all great. Your body, your brain is going to be sending signals to your body saying, hey, use energy to repair that stuff, which will be absolutely amazing because you continue to burn calories even after the workout's done, right? So that's why throughout all of this, I continue to do HIIT workouts because they really have so many great benefits that they're easy to do. Anybody can do them. There's modified versions. As you get better, you just kind of do them stronger, faster, harder. And so that way you don't need to buy more and more equipment. You don't need a lot of room, and you get benefits even after the workout's over from like a chemical standpoint inside of your body, which is amazing. So continue to hit those workouts hard. Push yourself harder than you thought you could go, right? Don't be a Wonka brat, right? Remember that your body can withstand just about anything. It's your mind that you have to convince. You have to convince yourself that no, I can go further, I can go harder, I can get stronger, and then you just gotta push yourself a little bit further. Guys, we're about halfway through the 6 weeks. Keep going. You've got this. You've got the workouts, you've got the instructions, you've got me. Feel free to email me or reach out to me with any questions or struggles you're having. I love getting to know people and working through it with that, working through things with them. Don't hesitate to reach out and let me know how you're doing, where you're struggling, and even suggestions you have of how things can be better, right? Just make sure you're hitting those workouts, doing them the best you can, and letting us know how you're doing. All right, guys, keep going. Great job. Keep going.